Saludos a todos. I know you all are so excited about our upcoming trip to France and Spain in spring of 2017. And now is the time where everybody is working on their passports. And I've gotten so many questions from both students and parents alike that I thought it would be a good idea to walk you through the passport process step by step and hope to answer any and all questions that you have. So I'd like you to take a look at now how to obtain a passport. A passport is proof of citizenship of a specific country. It is a government-issued document that serves as evidence of an individual's country of birth as well as their permanent residency. It is required when any citizen is traveling outside of their native country of birth or citizenship. The United States requires proof of residency and citizenship when both exiting and returning. A passport is required to enter into all countries except those that are United States administered territories and commonwealths, such as Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, specifically St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. A valid government ID, such as a driver's license, is permitted. The map outlines travel eligibility as it pertains to the United States. If you look in the top left-hand corner, you will see the continental United States surrounded by states such as Alaska and Hawaii, and also those U.S. administered territories previously mentioned. Notice that down at the bottom, VI, the Virgin Islands, and PR, Puerto Rico, are those territories that do not need a passport in which to travel. Looking over to the right side, you will notice the two countries that we are traveling to specifically for our trip in spring 2017. The bottom outlines Spain or España, and the top right-hand corner outlines France or Francia. Notice that a passport is definitely needed for international travel to those countries. Here we will outline the passport application process. Any citizen wishing to obtain a passport must first apply. Passport applications can be done in person or also online. All juvenile applicants under the age of 16 must apply in person. Those wishing to apply for their passport in person will make a passport appointment with a government agency such as the post office. All online submissions will be done through the government website of www.travel.state.gov. Now that the passport appointment has been set, it is important to gather all of the required documents to take with you to the appointment. A certified birth certificate from the country or state you were born. Please note that hospital certificates are not acceptable forms of documentation. A naturalization certificate or report of birth abroad document. A state or federal issued picture ID such as a driver's license, ID card, or military ID. Parental ID for children under the age of 18 applying for international travel. And lastly, 2 identical passport photos which can be processed at any CVS or Walgreens. Let's see how you did. Question number 1. What is a passport? Answer. A passport is a government-issued document that serves as evidence of an individual's country of birth, as well as their permanent residency and/or citizenship. Question number 2. When is a passport needed? A passport is needed anytime an individual will be going on an international excursion outside of their country of residency or citizenship. Question 3. Which countries do not require a passport for travel? Answer. The United States Virgin Islands, specifically the islands of St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, as well as Puerto Rico. Question number 4. Name the 2 principal agencies authorized to issue a passport. Number 1, your local post office, and number 2, the online government website of www.travel.state.gov. Question 5. Please describe the 4 acceptable documents needed to apply for a passport. Number 1, birth certificate. Number 2, a naturalization certificate. Number 3, a driver's license. Number 4, a state or military issued ID. In the next portion, we're going to show you the required procedures for those individuals applying for a passport under the age of 16, those individuals applying for a passport ages 16 and 17, and those that are doing passport renewal. Enjoy! Required procedures for those juvenile applicants under the age of 16. Step number 1. Have all proper documents completed and filled out. To apply for an initial passport, please choose the application form DS-11. Step 2. Have both passport photos that were issued to you from CVS, Walgreens, or any other photo agency. Step 3. The juvenile applicant and both parents must be present for authorization of international travel for the juvenile student. Of course, proper documentation of both parents is required during the appointment. Finally, step 4. If both parents cannot be present to authorize the international travel, a notarized consent form is necessary. This is Form DS-3053, along with a photocopy ID of the parent who cannot attend. Procedures are slightly different for those juvenile applicants already aged 16 and 17. Step number 1. Please have all required documents and applications completed and filled out prior to the appointment. Once again, you will select application form DS-11. Step number 2. Have 2 passport photos from any of the photo agencies mentioned, CVS or Walgreens. Step 3. The juvenile applicant and one parent must be present for the authorization of international travel of the student. And as always, proper documentation of the one parent is required. Step number 4. The juvenile applicant must also have an acceptable form of ID to be issued the passport. That form of acceptable ID can be and does include a school ID. Finally, let's review the required steps for passport renewal. Step number 1. Have completed the renewal application either for an in-person appointment or online. This form is outlined as DS-82. Step 2. Have the current or expired passport with you. Step 3. Have 2 new passport photos. It is important to remember that your passport is only good for up to 6 months after the date of international travel. If you look at the example given, our trip in spring 2017 notes a departure date of April 7th and a return date of April the 16th. That means all passports must be good through October the 16th, 2017 in order to be eligible for international travel. Any passport that expires prior to October 16th must be renewed before we travel on this trip. Last quiz. Let's see how you've done. Question number 1. True or false? An applicant under the age of 16 needs no parental authorization. False. In fact, an applicant under the age of 16 requires both parents to authorize international travel. Question 2. True or false? An applicant of the ages 16 and or 17 must have both parents present to apply for a passport. This is also false. Juvenile applicants ages 16 and 17 are only required to bring one parent with them to apply for a passport. Question number 3. True or false? A juvenile applicant under 16 is not permitted to travel outside of the United States. Well, of course, that's false. Any citizen of the United States is permitted for international travel, regardless of age. Question 4. True or false? In order to renew your passport, you must fill out a specific renewal application form. This is true. In fact, we know the form to be DS-82. Last question. Question number 5. Which of these items are needed to renew your passport? Is it the birth certificate, the passport, the state-issued ID, or the 2 passport photos? It is actually the current or expired passport, a state-issued ID such as a driver's license, and 2 new passport photos. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and learned a lot. Happy traveling!